Guess what, everybody? It is a terrific Tuesday. It's time to talk about VA disability. I am VA accredited attorney Matthew Lang, and I am here with you today, veterans, dedicated VA employees, and all the great supporters who are watching. Let's get educated. Today, I want to talk about the lay evidence, how to make a strong lay statement. Lay evidence is another piece of evidence that can be used, veterans, in your claim to help support medical evidence, to fill in gaps that medical evidence may not have. It can just ultimately paint the picture better. But for it to do that, though, it's got to be done in a way where it's a strong statement. I'm going to try to give you some examples without going into actual details of some stuff I've seen. I will tell you, I have not hesitated to kick back lay evidence to veterans that I help out for the lay evidence going completely sideways and not really what the VA needs. So we'll talk a little bit about that too. But before we get into all of the writing of it all, some of these tips and how to go about giving the VA what they need, I want you to understand a little bit more of what this lay evidence could do. It could ultimately make or break your case in some situations. So you may have service treatment records, veterans, but you may never went to sick call or medical during service for your condition. Why? Well, I got told even myself a lot. Take some ibuprofen, drink some water, move on. Suck it up. So you may not find anything documented because, well, that's what we did. That's what we were trained to do in many cases, and there are generations that are probably trained to do it harder than we are today. Maybe it's the idea that you were in a location where you didn't have the ability to have it documented. Think about being in combat situations. I know for myself, we had medics, but you think that was our worry that we were thinking about? Making sure everything was documented and brought back home with us? No, we were trying to keep each other alive. We were trying to complete the mission. So maybe it gets documented and doesn't make it into the record because of whatever situation you're in. Maybe the idea is you don't even have medics around you, or you have a medic that's all they've got is a limited supply and they can't give you everything. So you may not get the proper treatment. So maybe that's why it's not documenting your service treatment records. And these are things that ultimately are leading to that beginning part of that strong statement that, well, VA needs to know. Why was it not in there? So we'll talk a little bit more about that. The other idea is that maybe you have not sought any treatment, veterans, after you got out of service until present, and we want to talk about the continuity of your condition. Has it truly existed since service? Let's talk about that. Let's help the VA understand why you didn't seek any treatment. Did you come out of service with that mindset of I just gotta get things done? There's no stopping me, and this pain may hurt. Like you insert the word there, and it doesn't matter. I just got to keep going. Whatever it may have been. These statements can help explain that. These statements can also help explain maybe you did seek treatment when you came out of service. Maybe it was so long ago that, hey, I ran across a situation actually where those providers are no longer in practice and the practice isn't even open. So those documents are gone. They are just gone. Well, we can't be penalizing you, veterans, for that. I mean, that just doesn't seem to be justified. So, well, let's get some lay statements and let's fill in those blanks. Those are some things that it can do. It can definitely fill in those gaps from the records, but again, it can also help add to an understanding. So, say even in service you got treated for knee pain, and it was just quickly jotted down and noted, and that you had knee pain, you complained of knee pain, and yeah, you went on your way. Maybe you didn't get treated again after that. Well, why not? So maybe because, well, you got tired of just going in to sick call and being that one person who just got told all the time, take ibuprofen, drink water, and suck it up. I don't know. Whatever it may have been. I mean, mission could have came up and kept you from going back too. Maybe just that one day was the only day you were able to make it. Who knows? But my point is, before I get into a rambling session here, is that's what the lay statement's for. this is what we want to do. We want to paint that picture for the VA. We want to help them out. We want to make your case look strong. Now, you can have anybody who is deemed competent underneath the law to have written these statements. Veterans, again, even yourself, you're competent to say what you suffer from and how you feel and symptoms you go through. When I talk about competency, we're not talking about a person who needs to have a medical degree or some other education to write these statements. We're just talking about the everyday person who was there, who witnessed, observed, who can say, yes, this is what happened ultimately. So let's get down to it. How are you gonna write this statement? Well, veterans, whoever writes the statement for you, spouse, friend, other service member, other family member, you want to make sure that they identify themselves. You want to make sure that the name is on the statement. You want to make sure their contact information is on the statement. You never know. Maybe VA will decide to give a call if they need some clarification. You want to make sure that the date, preferably, is on there. I know I like to have the date on there, so I can kind of tell when it was written, what time frame. And then we get into the idea that you want that writer to explain the relationship to you, veteran. How do they know you? Where'd you meet at? How long have you known each other? Then you want to have them really going into what did they witness? What have they observed? Did they observe the injury in service? Were they there at that time? Can they talk to that? Can they talk about the effects that it had on you afterwards for years to come? Maybe you parted ways after service. That's where their story stops, and that's fine. Then we get into the idea that maybe you have a family member that can talk about the story after that. Well, this is what happened after service. This is where everything went. This is why medical treatment wasn't sought. Maybe it was sought. But again, those records just aren't obtainable, can't be obtained. This is how it affects your daily life, veterans. What does that condition do to alter the way you live? Think about it. I mean, joint conditions are huge from the military. We put our bodies through quite a bit. Back, knees are very common. So we consider those. Think about it. Your lifestyle may change. You went from a very physical, athletic individual in service until the injury occurred, and then it was kind of sliding downhill from there. Maybe you pushed yourself through the rest of your last little bit of service you had through the pain, through the injuries. Maybe you ended up making it worse that way, and then you came out of service as this person who avoided a lot of that exercise now, avoided a lot of those athletic activities you were really good at and you did. This is affecting your lifestyle. This is changing it. We can even think about ideas on how it affects your employment. How does it affect your job? Are you limited to how much you can lift, how far you can walk, how long you can stand? Are there people who can contest to this, witness that you can't work the same? Perhaps we're talking about even a mental health condition, for example. How does that affect you? Do you avoid now being around people? Do you jump at the sound of fireworks? Are you easily startled? Do you come out swinging in your sleep? I mean, there's all kinds of things that people could actually say that they've seen and observed over a period of time. And again, even if this person has only got knowledge to a certain point, somebody else may have knowledge afterwards. So just another statement. Veterans, you can write your own statements explaining all this as well, and then have it backed up by those who were there to also tell your story. So that's what you're looking for there. Sometimes I'll see a little statement on the bottom that says, yes, this is to my best, I certify this is to my best of my knowledge, or something along those lines, and that's fine. I've seen others have them notarized, and that's okay too. I mean, I think you're only adding some strength to that this is the signature of the person who wrote it. That's the other element there. Not only does the name have to be on veterans, but they need to sign it as well. There's no requirement for those two pieces of a statement or the notary, but if you want to make it a little more solid, you may just consider it. It's totally up to you on that one. But the ultimate piece that's going to make these statements strong is how it's written in between when it comes to those observed symptoms. So when I say that part, I see a lot of statements that are just vague. They're vague, and I've kicked them back because they're vague. I do my best not to give the VA evidence that's just going to waste their time, or I feel is going to waste their time. Please don't take this any of the wrong way. It's just the idea that I want to help your claim veterans be done, for those especially that I represent, to be done quicker and a lot easier, and with hope that everything is read that is submitted. So I don't want to give something that's too vague, that doesn't paint any pictures, doesn't explain anything, and that's just ultimately would cause the VA to lose some time and focus on the actual storyline by reading it. I also don't want something that I would also recommend not having something that's so long that it goes off in tangents. And I've seen that too. And so veterans do understand. If you're working with me and you have me kick your statements back, it's not because of I don't believe the statement. It's because it's too vague or goes on in the wrong direction. Doesn't talk about the issue at hand in some cases. And I think that happens fairly commonly. It's very common. It happens a lot. And I think it's just because of the nature of well, who we are. We want to make sure we're heard. We want to have our day in court, essentially. And we want to make sure, even if we're writing for somebody else, that in a lot of cases, that the story is told and that it's understood. And a lot of times what happens is our personal opinions get in there, and that's not what we're looking for here. We're not looking for emotion in law, unfortunately. We're not looking for all those personal statements. So that's usually where that rabbit hole gets walked down too many times and it gets too long. At the same time, though, I think it's easy for people to say, hey, I really don't know what to say. I'm not very good at telling the story and the way it needs to be told. And so it becomes vague. So that's okay. Just know that we need more and sometimes we need less. So let me give you an example of kind of what I mean. Now, this is a very short example, but the example really, I think, gives you a good idea of what each piece kind of looks like in a very brief statement. So here's the example. My name is John Smith. I served with James Doe in Iraq from 2005 to 2006. So immediately here, veterans, we got the name that we talked about of who the person is, and we got that relationship right here. Who are they? How do they know you? And it's right there. Now, it even says, I witnessed James complain of severe back pain after our vehicle was hit by an IED. So right there, the injury, the event that occurred there that this person knew about was there, and they witnessed you, veteran, say in this case, or James in my example here, actually complained of the back pain. Now, if you want to take that even further, we can talk about how they complained about it. Was it verbally? Was it in conversation? Did they also maybe hold their back while they did it? Were they wincing in pain? I mean, we can give a little bit more detail even possibly, but bear with me on the example here. It also notes here in the example he couldn't wear his gear properly and had to lie down during missions. So again, that's something that's affecting the everyday life at that moment. We're supposed to wear the gear a certain way, but hey, when something's hurt or that gear hits something that's already injured wrong and it makes it worse or creates more pain, yeah, we're likely to say, yeah, forget that. I'm going to take my chances because I'm trying to relieve that pain or avoid from injuring it further. So in this case here, in this example, that's exactly what John Smith seen from James Doe, is that the effects of wearing the gear and then the needing to lie down during missions and how that affected, again, that daily routine of life. Here it also mentions after discharge. So this example actually goes into from in service to even after service. I've seen him avoid little things or walking long distances. So again, avoidance of lifting things and walking long distances. That's the effect of your daily living there, veterans. Somebody can observe that. Somebody can see, look, he only walks to the mailbox and back, and he can't make it any further. He used to run 5 miles a day, and now he can't even do that. So that's what we're talking about with the detail and staying focused in on those pieces here. Now, this one here, he mentions he has mentioned trouble sleeping due to back pain. Again, that's the effect of the back pain itself. It does kind of start leading into possible other conditions and claims that we could look into, but the idea is that it's affecting does veteran sleep in this example. It's painful. It's hard to lay. It's hard to get into a position where you can fall asleep, and maybe by the time the veteran does, the pain is more severe. But again, this is also mentioned in this example as maybe this veteran here, John Smith, writing for James Doe, just happens to notice, hey man, you're tired. You look really tired today. And the veteran goes, yeah, I've been having trouble sleeping because I can't get comfortable because my back pain is just, it's keeping me awake all night long. They can write about that. That's observed. Whether, again, whatever one of your 5 senses has observed it, your hearing, your ears in this case, in this example, or eyes, sorry, hearing and ears, the same thing. Okay, so we got that, and we may even see in some examples, if it was a spouse, they could actually witness the veteran having troubles sleeping, and could even mention that there to the back pain. So that gives you an idea there, veterans, of what we're looking for. We're looking for this detail. We're looking for this clear, concise detail. We don't want to go off into tangents of somebody going, and it's in my opinion that the veteran suffers from arthritis in the back, secondary to or from an event they have no knowledge about. We don't want them going off in too far in the weeds there. And we want them to stay on course, and that's how you keep a strong lay evidence there. Just be precise, be specific, write the story, give as much detail as you can that doesn't go off the rails there. So, veterans, with that, when you're filing your VA claim or appeal, don't underestimate the power of a good lay statement. It's your voice. The VA's got to consider it. It's also the voices of your support chain, those around you who have observed your symptoms, observed your injury from service to present, during service even. VA has to consider all this. This is required by law. Hey, don't forget, veterans, if you've got any other ideas on how you've maybe went about or how you've seen a strong lay statement written, throw it in the comments. Help everybody out. Help other veterans out in that process. But today, I just want to give you an idea of and some examples of what I look at and educate you in that. If the statement's not good enough, we don't want to send it to the VA and have them waste their time. They've got we don't want that to take away from them reviewing other evidence. We don't want them to get discouraged or kind of tired from reading a long document or saying that, oh, look, this is a 6-page lay statement on one condition. We don't want to discourage this situation at all. So keep it concise. Don't be vague. Stay to the point. Make sure the person's identified and the relationship is identified, and they sign the document. It's kind of that easy. Sounds easy, right? But there it is. That is how I would tell you how to write a strong lay statement for your file there. Again, if you feel that you have a lay statement that was disapproved or not reviewed during the decision process with the VA, you're always welcome to reach out to veteranlang.com or go to the website, veteranlang.com. Give us a call from there. The easiest way is to click the button there to schedule your free case evaluation, where you can get on my calendar, and we can talk more about your claim and see what we can do for you. Perhaps representation is what you need. Maybe you just need the extra little help, and sometimes we all do. So if we can help, we're happy to. If not, do remember there's other accredited agents and attorneys out there and BSOs if you want to seek out them as well. Not against that. We're all here with the same mission, here to help you. So enough of my rant. Don't forget to watch some other videos and learn a little bit more. Subscribe to the channel if you have not, just so you get that notification of every Tuesday when the video comes up. And then if I put any other special videos out there, I've done that a couple times and may even do it in the future again. So with that, I thank you as always. Have a wonderful week and enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. See you next week.